Steve. We're going to talk about some stuff today. And sitting at my desk in my office with me is one of my favorite all-time people, Josh Doebler. And he's the kids pastor at Grace Community Fellowship. And Josh, thank you for joining me to talk about some stuff.
Thanks for, taking the chance to have me come here and talk to you about stuff, because you never know what's going to come out of a kids pastor's mouth.
I know this is going to be daunting for me because I can't control the content. But here we go. I just want to ask you, tell us about your family.
Well, I have a beautiful wife, Jessica. We've been married for 15 and a half years. And I've got 3 kids, Jovi, Jace, and Jenna. And they're all bouncing off the walls. And
how old are they?
So I've got Jovi's 8. She's our oldest. And Jace is 6. And Jenna is 4. She'll be turning 5 in July this year. So.
Okay. How long have you lived in Eugene?
We've been here since fall of 2016. So going on 4.5 years now.
Okay. Wow. Fantastic. And, I heard this random fact about you that you were born in a church parking lot.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
I was born in a church park. My dad was a youth pastor at the time in this church, and we were too poor to afford a home, so we lived in a little camper trailer, and the camper trailer was parked in the parking lot of the church, and I was born at home. In between Sunday school and the church service, everybody came out, and my dad held me up in the little thing, in the little camper window like Mufasa. And,
no way.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. And everybody came out and looked at me.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there I was in my birthday suit, and everybody was. So I can literally say I love church because I've been there since the day I was born.
So you're born in the church and you become a pastor?
Yes. Well, yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, fantastic.
I know.
Hey, how in the world did you become a kids pastor of all things? Well, how did that happen?
Well, it was actually not my choice. I started out as a youth pastor, and things didn't go so well. And a year into that, my pastor's like, "This isn't working out."
Why did it not go so well?
I mean, I like teenagers for the most part, but I'm not cool enough to be around them. Obviously, that's why I work with kids now. So it just didn't work out. And the pastor, he could have let me go, but he didn't. He showed some grace and stuck me in a kid's classroom. I was there for a while. I was a full-time paid staff member at a 1,000-person church, and I was assisting a non-paid volunteer in a kid's class. So that was pretty humbling. But from there, it just kind of rolled to me taking on more and more of the kids' events, and I became that church's first kids pastor, and I've been doing that ever since, now for 13 years. Wow,
so you've been 13 years as a full-time kids pastor.
Yes.
What do you love about it the most?
Oh man, I love teaching on Sundays. Like that's always my favorite part of the week. My favorite part of the week is being in front of kids and teaching them just fun Bible stories, being creative with it. That's always my favorite part.
Yeah, you're super good at it. Hey, okay, so you're born in the church parking lot. I didn't realize in a camper. I thought maybe like you couldn't get to the hospital on time, but yeah. So what are some other random facts about you that we should probably know?
Well, I picked up a new hobby this past year.
Okay, what's that?
I picked up hunting.
Hunting?
Yeah, I would be the last person to think that I would ever pick up this hobby, but just the circumstances, met a guy who was really into it and willing to teach me, and went along with him on a little scouting trip and got jazzed up about it. Went out and bought a bow and some arrows, and yeah, man, I went hunting, and I actually did get to shoot a deer, but I didn't get to find it. I didn't actually get to harvest any animals this year, but I'm excited about going again this year.
Okay, so you're a bow hunter. You're hunting deer with a bow.
Yeah, and elk. I want to get an elk this year. So that's my goal.
So you're going for big game.
I'm going for big game, man. If I get a bear, that's fine too.
Is your wife okay with this new hobby?
She's totally into it. Yeah.
I mean, this is costing some money.
Oh,
and time.
Yeah, the initial setup was pretty crazy. So
okay,
if anyone out there is thinking about getting into bow hunting, just know that you're gonna have to drop a bundle at the beginning.
Okay.
So, and we did, and the Lord allowed us to be able to have the financial resources to do that, and I was surprised as anyone else that my wife was like, "Yeah, go and do it," and And we actually did get some elk meat out of it. I didn't get to shoot an elk, but the guy I went with, he shot one, and
You got
I
some
helped
elk
him
steak?
Yeah, we had elk. We have ground elk. We had roast. We had, all sorts of really good stuff.
Okay.
It was good.
All right. So how far can you shoot an arrow accurately?
For last season, I had a sight that was only up to about 45, 50 yards. So that's what I practiced at, and that's what I got efficient at.
All right. All right, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a good thing you moved to Oregon. You wouldn't have been into deer and elk hunting. I mean, you got a new hobby.
Like, I lived in Ohio, and that's for a lot of hunters, that's like the promised land. You go out there, all those cornfields, and you got these deer that
corn-fed
deer. Corn-fed deer, and so,
they're tame.
But I was around it, and I was never interested. I went one time when I was in Ohio, and I was like, I'm never doing this again. This is dumb. But now here I am, jumping full-fledged into it, man.
Okay, well, so I take it you're not a vegetarian.
No.
Or a vegan.
In fact, I'm training my kids to not be vegans either. We have bacon or sausage every single morning.
Oh, okay.
I cook it. I cook breakfast.
I had vegetarian sausage this morning for vegetarian sausage.
Yeah, I don't think that's sausage, Steve.
Yeah, it tastes like sausage.
I'm
trying to eat better, and it's working for me, but...
Yeah, well, you can call an apple an orange, but that doesn't make it an orange.
Okay, yeah, sure. All right. Well, hey, back to kids ministry. We digress.
Yes.
So, hey, what do you think makes a great kids ministry? What do you like to see in a kids ministry?
Well, I honestly, I think God has given me an unreal opportunity with the whole pandemic and just kind of reassessing what I think is important about kids ministry. I used to think that the bigger, the better, and the more flash that it had, the more attention it would keep. But I really think the Lord's kind of changed my philosophy on that to think I need to really focus more on the fundamentals. You see all these basketball and football movies, and the coaches on these movies always say, hammer the fundamentals. And those are the teams, the ones that really dig into the fundamentals are the ones that succeed, because they stick to what has always worked and will always work. And I think that's going forward. That's one of the things that we want to focus on are some fundamentals. So one of the new elements that we've added is a spiritual habit training to our kids ministry. We didn't used to do this. We used to just teach Bible stories, and Bible stories are great. And I want kids to know all the great Bible stories that we grew up knowing. But I also want them to walk away from GCF Kids with some tools in their spiritual tool belt that are going to stick with them longer than just a Bible story on a Sunday. And so just recently we started that. And so our first one was we wanted kids to learn the books of the Bible. And so far we've had 16 kids, including 2 4-year-olds, say the books of the Bible, all 66 in a row. And just one of the things that, again, helps you navigate God's Word, maybe get you excited to read God's Word because you're spending so much time learning the books of the Bible.
Right.
So it's just kind of a jumping off point. But I remember, not being able to find stuff. And there's probably a lot of adults and kids out there now who have problems finding different books of the Bible. We want kids to be able to navigate it easily. So that was just the first one that we did.
So would I be accurate to say, hey, you still want it to be fun and engaging, but you want to make sure that the fundamentals are stressed in the program? Is that
absolutely?
That right?
Yeah. In fact,
because I can't see you ever not being fun. That's
yeah.
not your personality.
No, absolutely. We love to teach the Bible in creative and engaging ways. We still have fun and games on Sunday mornings, but we don't want it to be all fun and games. We want kids to learn and to grow and to really just engage with their Christian walk in ways that a lot of times they probably wouldn't otherwise. So.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm kind of winging it here, but let's do the books of the Bible right now.
Okay.
You and me. So, and Nick, the sound engineer, is laughing at me because he knows I'm going to stumble. So,
all right.
So let's do every other one. Because when I was in college, this is what I used to do with my roommate, Tom Brink. We would go through Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and we'd go back and forth.
Yeah.
And then if we kind of stumbled, the other one could jump in.
Yeah.
and do that.
Oh, I'll be ready.
Oh yeah, I know you would be. Okay.
I've been doing this for the last 2 months now. I'm sharp as a tack right now.
Oh, okay. So I'll go with the first book of the Bible. How's that?
Okay, that's
and then
fine.
you go the next one,
Yeah,
and then
let's
we'll go
do
back
it.
and forth.
Ready? I'm ready.
Okay, you ready? Now I shouldn't have done this. Okay, you ready? Genesis,
Exodus,
Leviticus,
Numbers,
Deuteronomy,
Joshua,
Judges.
Ruth.
First, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, Joshua, Judges,
First and
Ruth.
second Samuel.
Okay, sorry. Don't tell me. I knew it. Okay, First Samuel,
Second Samuel,
First Kings,
Second Kings.
First Kings, Second Kings. Just a second. Did we already say it? Hold on. Joshua, Genesis, Exodus. I got to go through the order. Oh, help me out.
There's some 4-year-olds sitting
I
listening
know.
to this right now being like, First Chronicles.
Oh, yes. What? First Chronicles.
Second Chronicles.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Opinions.
Ezra.
Oh, Ezra, Nehemiah. Oh, you're
Esther.
supposed to Ezra, Esther, Nehemiah.
Ezra, Nehemiah,
Yeah, that's
Esther,
what I said. Yeah.
Job,
Psalms.
Proverbs,
Okay, Job, Psalm, Proverbs, Song of Solomon.
Ecclesiastes.
Yeah, excuse me.
Song of Solomon,
Then the major prophets.
Isaiah,
I was going to go next. Isaiah,
Jeremiah,
Ezekiel.
Lamentations.
Oh, good.
No, Isaiah, Jeremiah,
Lamentations, because Jeremiah wrote Lamentations.
yes.
And then
Ezekiel,
Daniel,
Hosea,
Micah,
Joel,
Joel,
Amos.
This is where I stumble. You think I stumbled in the others.
Right,
but
yeah.
Where are we at?
Starts with an O.
Obadiah,
Jonah,
Micah.
Nahum.
See, I knew Jonah, Micah, Nahum.
Yeah. You had it. Habakkuk, Zephaniah,
Haggai,
Zechariah. No,
Malachi.
Malachi.
He's
Malachi,
Italian.
yeah.
Malachi is the Italian prophet.
yeah,
We call
that's
him. Okay. New Testament, Matthew,
All right, Mark,
Luke,
John,
Acts,
Romans,
1 Corinthians,
2 Corinthians,
Galatians,
Ephesians,
Philippians,
Colossians.
Oops, sorry.
That's okay. You were gonna say go eat popcorn.
I know. Go eat popcorn. 1 Thessalonians,
You got to finish it. 2 Thessalonians,
1 Timothy,
2 Timothy,
Titus,
Philemon,
James,
Hebrews.
Hebrews. Yeah, James, Hebrews.
Hebrews, James.
Oh, Hebrews, James, yes. And then hold it. You get me off. Why am I struggling with the New Testament? Oh, this is terrible. What's
Hebrews, James, 1st and 2nd Peter.
Oh yeah, 1st, 2nd Peter. 1st, 2nd, 3rd John, Jude, Revelation.
Revelation.
Yeah, sure, okay. Yeah. All right. Whew, my goodness, this
All right,
is pressure.
I know, isn't it?
It is
you put
pressure.
it on yourself. I didn't do it.
I know, but people go, "Hey, Steve, you went to seminary. You don't have the books of the Bible just spot on."
Well, I mean,
it's on my phone.
It's not like an absolute necessity. I mean, yeah, we can find them on the phone, but I think there are so many adults that you tell them a verse to look up, and they have an actual Bible in their lap, and they have to go to the table of contents.
Right.
It's just a tool that, as a pastor's kid growing up, that was just something that I always had in my tool belt. I never had to think about it. Mm-hmm. Always did it. I just knew where to go in the Bible, and I want kids coming out of our kids ministry to have that same
Sure.
ability.
Yeah, I totally love that.
Yeah.
So when it comes to kids wanting to get baptized, and sometimes parents will come to me, and I'm sure they come to you all the time, and not me, but hey, is my kid old enough to be baptized? And they have some how do you usually advise parents on something like that?
I always want parents to be the judge of that, right? Because parents know their kids the best. In fact, I had my very first child, Jovi. She got baptized this past summer in August, and she's 7 years old. So, and it wasn't she had asked Christ to come in her life when she was 5. We knew that she knew. She had that assurance that she knew what Jesus had done for her. She made that decision, but it was a comfort issue for her. She didn't want to be in front of people, and I didn't want to force her to do something that she wasn't ready to do. And then when I talk to parents, I say, you want kids to understand that baptism doesn't have anything to do with them getting into heaven, right? First and foremost. So they need to understand that. It's their relationship with Jesus that allows them to go to heaven. It's putting their faith in Jesus. But also want them to understand that kids need to recognize that that's something that God asks us to do so we can start telling people about our relationship with God. It's kind of like the first time you go into tell people that you're on the soccer team, right? You get on a ball team and you put on the jersey because you're excited, right? It's kind of like kids putting on their jersey and saying, hey, I'm part of God's family and I want you to know it.
I think that's a great example, the whole jersey thing, because you're identifying with the team, right?
Sure, absolutely.
This is my team. I'm on the Jesus team.
You're already on the team.
Right.
You're just showing off your jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great example. So when parents come, it sounds like you say, hey, you know your kid best. If they've really made that decision to trust Jesus, then let's go ahead with baptism. But they kind of have to guide that. You're not telling them what to do.
No, and I would just, again, I have my son. He's 6 years old, and he's asked Jesus into his heart. And we started the conversation about baptism, but, we just keep talking about it. And eventually, just the last baptism we had in January, on the morning of it, he's like, can I get baptized? And so we asked him, what does it mean? What does it mean to be baptized? Like, well, you're telling people that you're part of God's family. So we didn't choose to do it that day, but we know he's ready. And so the next time we have one, we'll probably baptize him, and it'll be a cool event, and we'll celebrate it. That's the other thing I want parents to do, is really celebrate it as a milestone in their kid's life, in their faith journey. Make a big deal of it. That's one of the reasons we kind of waited for him, because we want to say, look at this day that we celebrated this decision for you, really stepping into your relationship with Jesus and following him in this way. So
yeah, that's terrific. So when it comes to kids ministry and volunteers, I know you have, like, maybe pre-COVID, I don't know, you had, how many volunteers you have?
We had 80 to 90.
Okay, so what is it that you look for in volunteers? I'm sure it's different for different things they're volunteering, but by and large, what is it you're looking for when people join with you and what God is doing with kids ministry and with kids' lives? What do you look for?
I look for people who want to just make an eternal investment. You don't have to be super great with kids. It does help if you like them,
Okay.
But just showing up consistently in the life of a few kids can make a huge eternal impact. And so what I really look for is people who are consistent. I look back at the people who made the biggest difference in my life spiritually, and it's because they consistently showed up and they lived out their faith in front of me. It wasn't the people who I met one or two times or heard this lesson from this person or this lesson from that person. It was the person that consistently showed up. So the kids here at GCF, we want them to have adult leaders that consistently show up in their lives and help teach them spiritual truths that will and apply those. It's like I said, it's not hard to be a small group leader. It can seem a little scary, but we provide great tools for volunteers and training, and obviously we do like all the safety stuff, the background checks and all other stuff. But we just want people to consider that it's an investment of time that God will bless.
So it sounds like you're looking for adults who will just love on kids,
absolutely,
and be there consistently, and help facilitate guiding them in God's truth.
Absolutely. And I got to say, when we started our kids ministry back up, we have a group of 10 to 12 volunteers right now that have started back with us, and we're willing to go through and suffer through some of the challenges of social distancing and masks and COVID and all the sanitation and all that, and have really stepped up. And I just got to say, they're a great group of people, and I've been very blessed to lead them. So
hey, I just want to ask you another question. So during this COVID thing, how big of a challenge has it been to do ministry? I mean that's an open-ended question. You and I have talked about that a lot, but just what are the challenges right now in this where we're at?
Well, right now I feel a tension between kind of ramping back up our in-person kids ministry and events, and also making sure that the people who are still wanting to stay at home and kind of still a little reserved about in-person events. So feeling that stress between how to continue to meet needs of both groups. And I really feel like we're on the right path. But ministry has been, just a roller coaster. Especially, I'm a very personal kind of guy. That's the relationships are what feed me. I get excited and energized by relationships. And for the several months when we didn't have anything, it felt like I was kind of dying inside. Yes, I was on videos, and I even talked to one family who watched my videos consistently. When we did a daily dose, did the Monday through Friday, and even the Sunday videos now that we do, they watched all of them consistently. And, I said, hey, I miss you guys. And they're like, well, we get to see you every Sunday, but I didn't get to see any of them.
Right.
So for me, on this side of the camera and the microphone, it was like that's who I was talking to, is the camera and microphone. Even though it was making a connection on the other side, it still was very, very difficult to keep that going for a long time. And now that we have some in person, I still feel like that's a great thing for me. I love Sundays. Like I said at the beginning, that's my favorite part of the week is teaching. But yeah, that tension of how to do that. And I think we've got some great things coming. We have a new at-home experience that we're launching on March 7th that people can check out on our website, gcfkids.org/online.
So what is that?
So we have a brand new experience. We used to just put out one GCF Kids Bible Time video that all kids could watch, but now we're going to be putting out 3 different videos, one for preschool, one for early elementary, and then one for preteens, 4th and 5th graders. That parents can go online, they can choose what's best for their kids, or have all 3 of them watch a different one.
Right.
And we also were providing a weekly discussion guide for parents and monthly parent cues that moms and dads can use to continue the conversation about what we're teaching and learning about throughout the month.
This sounds like a lot of effort to put forth, right? So
yeah,
it just seems that way. So how many videos have you done since COVID?
So this past Sunday, I completed my 51st video. Yeah, so I've made 51 videos for Sundays, and then I made 57 daily doses, and then we've put a whole host of other videos. So we have over 150 videos on our YouTube channel.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, just really appreciate your work with kids at our church, and I know you've been involved in some other things, maybe a little bit more regionally and locally with kids pastors. I don't leave without talking about that. So you hosted a seminar regionally for special needs. Just go over that. I think I found that very interesting.
Sure. Yeah. So, I've over the first 3 years that I was here, one of my things that I wanted to do was build relationships with other churches and kids ministry leaders so that they know, just like I should know, is that you don't work in a bubble. That we're all on the same team. We're trying to teach kids about Christ, and even though we're at different churches, we still have the same goal in mind, and we want to see kids come to know Jesus. And whether that's kids that have special needs or not, I think that was one of the things that, as I talked to those other leaders, that was an element missing from our community. That was a vast need, and we see that even now. But being able to come together as leaders and offer some type of training, which we did a couple of years ago, and even tried to launch a couple of other bigger conferences, but because of the pandemic, had to shut those down. But still, again, just that coalition, that network of leaders who are all working together to help solve problems in churches and children's ministries that will benefit our entire community, not just one particular church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, hey, that's great. And Josh, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and that was the amazing Josh Doebler, just an average deer hunter from Springfield, Oregon.
For sure average.
For sure average. Okay, hey, that's the stuff with Steve today. We talked about a lot of stuff. Grace and peace be with you today.